It's a really weird feeling to sit with because I am half Hispanic, but I also don't understand that culture like so many other Hispanic and Latino people do. Hi, my name is Nicole Hernandez. I am a reporter MSJ here at KREM 2 News, and let's talk. I am half Hispanic and half white. My mom has a plethora of random, I think Irish, Scottish, a bunch of stuff in there. And then my dad then is Hispanic. He's from El Salvador. He was born there and lived there until he was 3. He moved to the United States. I think he lived in New York from when he was 3 until when he was 7. And then when he was 7, he went back to El Salvador, stayed there until he was 12. And then he moved, I'm pretty sure, to LA when he was 12, and then was here in the US from that point forward. Growing up in San Diego was interesting. I grew up in San Diego with the last name Hernandez. I've got, the darker Hispanic features. I'm pretty white passing, but people can typically tell that I at least have some Hispanic blood in me. And I don't speak any Spanish at all. My dad did not teach us Spanish. Instead of teaching us about his culture, he actually pushed it away pretty dramatically. We actually didn't even have any contact with most of his family for most of our life. I think there was some troubled relationships on that side of the family that caused us to break off from them. So not only did he not instill it in us, I also wasn't close with that side of the family. I think he struggled with being an immigrant. I think he struggled English as a second language. He had to grow up in the United States as someone who maybe he didn't feel like he belonged. Again, he didn't talk about this with us much, so it's hard. It's something that we can only infer. He would talk a little bit about it, but he pushed it out so much. He didn't want any part of it anymore because I think it was such a troubling part of his past. He didn't want that for us. He very specifically wanted to erase that history and didn't want us to grow up with the stereotypes that he grew up with. So he didn't teach us Spanish. He was actually upset when my brother decided to take Spanish in high school. I took French in high school, so it was never a problem. When my brother started taking Spanish, up until the day he died, he was telling my brother not to speak Spanish. He never really got over the hurt and trauma from growing up here and the stereotypes and potential racism that ended up hurting him being Hispanic in a community that maybe wasn't so accepting of that. So I have a half brother. His name is Braxton. He's my dad's son, but not my mom's. And when he was born, my dad and his mom decided to give him a fake last name. My dad did not want him to even have the last name Hernandez, so his last name is made up. No family ties at all. My mom said that was a huge point of contention throughout her pregnancy with me. Up until me being born, he did not want me to have the last name Hernandez either. So it is weird to be in a place where Hispanic culture is, or not here obviously, but growing up in a place where Hispanic culture is so prevalent everywhere. All the roads are named Spanish names, right? Everything is so prevalent there with Hispanic culture, but then in a household where it's so pushed away. I live in East Central, and I found out that the more Hispanic people live in East Central than before. That was a cool moment because I was like, wait, that's me. And there's little moments like that where you do get to recognize that in yourself or be proud of that in yourself. Like, hey, yeah, I'm Hispanic, and that's cool. And you're talking about advice, just like I take those when they come, and that's cool. And maybe one day I'll learn Spanish.